You know, it's funny, in some ways, Bill's the perfect guy, and I could...
This is a CBS News special report. Dan Rather reporting from CBS News World Headquarters in New York. Good morning. We are waiting for President Bush to make an appearance in the White House Rose Garden to talk about the current situation in Iraq. Yesterday, American Special Forces and soldiers of the 101st Airborne Division, it is said by the Defense Department, killed Saddam Hussein's sons, Qusay and Uday, in a raid in northern Iraq. The official reports say the two were trapped in a villa in Mosul and died after a 4-hour firefight. Lieutenant General Ricardo Sanchez, commander of U.S. troops in Iraq, said the bodies of Uday and Qusay have been positively identified by former aides of Saddam's regime and by matching the men's dental and X-ray records. The Bush administration hopes the deaths of the Hussein sons will hamper the ongoing insurgency, what some U.S. military people have called, quote, a guerrilla war against U.S. troops. But another American soldier was killed in an attack this morning in Mosul. And there's some news from the overall general broader war on terror. Iran's intelligence minister said today that 2 top members of al-Qaeda are in custody in Iran. We may perhaps have more about that later on. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld and Paul Bremer, the U.S. civilian administrator of Iraq, are with President Bush today for this appearance in the Rose Garden just outside the White House. We're on the air waiting for them to come out. The expectation is that the president wants to talk to the nation about the current events in Iraq, what has happened, what is happening, and perhaps about what can be expected in the future. But only the president is expected to talk at this time. And here now is the president.
It is my pleasure to welcome Ambassador Paul Bremer back to the White House. Thank you. I'm also pleased to be joined by Secretary Rumsfeld and General Myers. Thank you all for coming. Ambassador Bremer is doing a fine job in an essential cause. The nations in our coalition are determined to help the Iraqi people recover from years of tyranny, and we are determined to help build a free and sovereign and democratic nation. The Coalition Provisional Authority, led by Ambassador Bremer, has a comprehensive strategy to move Iraq toward a future that is secure and prosperous. We're carrying out that strategy for the good of Iraq, for the peace of the region, and for the security of the United States and our friends. Saddam Hussein's regime spent more than 3 decades oppressing Iraq's people, attacking Iraq's neighbors, and threatening the world's peace. The regime tortured at home, promoted terror abroad, and armed in secret. Now, with the regime of Saddam Hussein gone forever, a few remaining holdouts are trying to prevent the advance of order and freedom. They are targeting our success in rebuilding Iraq. They're killing new police graduates. They're shooting at people. They're guarding the universities, power plants, and oil facilities. These killers are the enemies of Iraq's people. They operate mainly in a few areas of the country. And wherever they operate, they are being hunted, and they will be defeated. Our military forces are on the offensive. They're working with the newly free Iraqi people to destroy the remnants of the old regime and their terrorist allies. Yesterday, in the city of Mosul, the careers of 2 of the regime's chief henchmen came to an end. Saddam Hussein's sons were responsible for torture, maiming, and murder of countless Iraqis. Now more than ever, all Iraqis can know that the former regime is gone and will not be coming back. As our work continues, we know that our coalition forces are serving under difficult circumstances. Our nation will give those who wear its uniform all the tools and support they need to complete their mission. We are eternally grateful for the bravery of our troops, for their sacrifice, and for the sacrifices of their families. The families of our servicemen and women can take comfort in knowing that their sons and daughters and moms and dads are serving a cause that is noble and just and vital to the security of the United States. A free, democratic, peaceful Iraq will not threaten America or our friends with illegal weapons. A free Iraq will not be a training ground for terrorists or a funnel of money to terrorists or provide weapons to terrorists who would willingly use them to strike our country or our allies. A free Iraq will not destabilize the Middle East. A free Iraq can set a hopeful example to the entire region and lead other nations to choose freedom. And as the pursuits of freedom replace hatred and resentment and terror in the Middle East, the American people will be more secure. America has assumed great responsibilities for Iraq's future, yet we do not bear these responsibilities alone. 19 nations are providing more than 13,000 troops to help stabilize Iraq. And additional forces will soon arrive. More than two dozen nations have pledged funds that will go directly towards relief and reconstruction efforts. Every day we are renovating schools for the new school year. We're restoring the damaged water, electrical, and communication systems. And when we introduce a new Iraqi currency later this year, it will be the first time in 12 years that the whole country is using the same currency. Our greatest ally in the vital work of stabilizing and rebuilding a democratic and prosperous Iraq is the Iraqi people themselves. Our goal is to turn over authority to Iraqis as quickly as possible. Coalition authorities are training Iraqi police forces to help patrol Iraqi cities and villages. Ambassador Bremer and General Abizaid are working to establish as quickly as possible a new Iraqi civilian defense force to help protect supply convoys and power plants and ammunition depots.